Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out today. We do have some folks probably on TV watching us because I always get somebody that'll say, "Oh, I saw you on TV last week," or whatever. So I'll call the meeting to order, and we'll begin with introductions. And why don't I start to my left with Mary Beck?
I'm Mary Beth from Whitehall, Wisconsin.
Iola Stallings from Ettrick.
Beth Killian, Arcadia.
Jeannie Nutter, a County Board Human Services Committee rep. I represent the 15th district.
I'm Jay Hine, Human Services Director.
I'm sorry, I represent the 16th. That was the 15th. That's the Strum area, Strum, Whitehall, or Osceola.
I'm Jay Hine, the Human Services Director.
Laura Boyer, ADRC of Trempealeau County.
Colleen Schwarke from Osseo.
I'm Dawn Waldera, also on the Board of Directors, District 11. I apologize, this is the first meeting I've been able to get to since I've been added to the group, but I'm really happy to be here today.
Ashley Brecky, ADRC and Human Services.
Sammy Becker, ADRC.
Scott Brown from the Whitehall area, and we have a representative online here.
Morning, Becky Gluen, County Administrator.
How are you today?
Great, how are you?
Good, good. Had a chance to just wave at
Good.
you a few minutes ago, but thanks for joining us.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
You bet. Thank you for the people that are tuning in. So, open meeting law's been met through the proper posting. We have an agenda in front of us. I'd entertain a motion to adopt the agenda for today.
I move to adopt the August 6th, 2024 agenda.
Jeannie moves to adopt. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second to the motion. Is any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. The minutes were sent out one way or another. I got mine through the mail and probably by email too, but I read them through the mail. If you've had a chance to review them, I'd entertain a motion to adopt the minutes as printed.
I would make a motion to adopt the minutes, but I have just one little tiny thing. On the second page, it's just a slash mark between on the first section, 7/2/24. It doesn't change anything. It just looks like the date was 72/24. Sorry.
Oh, God, you're a teacher, aren't you?
I can't help
Or you
it.
were a
I
teacher.
can't help it.
Okay.
Where was that? I didn't even see.
Is there, oh, I see it now.
Oh, I see.
That's up in the first paragraph. Is there a second to the amendment of the minutes? Iola seconds the motion. Any other corrections? All in favor of the minutes as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, we're all the way up to 6 already. That's what this is all about.
Can we possibly move that one to a little further down? Because that's part of my trouble right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you, okay.
I can't get to the network to get in. I have to be in the meeting by Zoom to play it per IT, so we're having trouble with that.
Okay, for those of you that are watching on TV, we're going to move Wine, Women, and Dementia event updates to a little bit later in the agenda because of technological issues. So that puts Jay on notice for number 7.
All right, sounds good. So I am going to do a kind of a high-level review of the aging plan that you should have received in your packets. As Scott said, either by mail or email or however, whichever format is best for you. So just to set the table for this, it's a 3-year aging plan, and the current plan expires at the end of this year, and so we're creating the one for 2025 through 27. And there are a lot of elements that are predetermined that I should say categories on the plan that are predetermined by the state that we need to look at. But then within each of those categories, we look at goals and objectives for our county, which make it specific to us. And so those are the things that I'll quickly go over those, but just so you know, we also, as far as the community engagement piece, because we always want feedback from the residents of our county on things, issues and topics that we should be addressing as for our specific county within each of these areas. And so to that end, we looked at a number of surveys and interviews. So I think we had 121 paper surveys that were filled out. We had 10 online surveys that we received. And then we also did 7 one-to-one in-person interviews as well.
How many,
So,
excuse me, how many paper surveys did you receive?
121.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, I was thinking that was a good number too. So that's part of what is not just required, but I mean also we want to know what people really are feeling is important to our county and to the residents of our county. So that's a community engagement piece that we always make sure that we're tending to and getting that feedback. So moving into the plan itself, and we've got draft goals here. And so when you look at the first page, and there are 4 different sections, and so they'll each of them will say Title III, and then have a letter and possibly a number after them. But basically, I'm just going to refer to them as the words after that. And so it's supportive services, it's nutrition program, evidence-based health promotion, and then caregiver supports. So each of those areas has goals within it, and then how are we going to reach those goals, basically. So the first one is supportive services, and if you go down to that next section, it says, it talks about aging network value and the different values that we want to keep in the forefront as we're approaching our aging plan and executing it. And so we've checked person-centeredness, equity, and advocacy as some of the values that we keep in the forefront. And so our goal statement is to increase and raise public awareness, understanding, and connection with the ADRC. And that's the meat of it, really, and that's where we want to tackle that area, and then we've got the plan or strategy to get to that. And so the next section down talks about the plan or strategy. And what we want to do in order to get progress toward that goal is offer at least 4 educational presentations each year, with a lot of different possible topics that we've got listed there. And so if you have any, we certainly are open to that feedback as well. We want to also provide person-centered decision-making, care planning, and understanding legal documents training annually. So that could be things like powers of attorney, living wills, DNRs, things like that, so that people are informed and educated about some of those major topics that really do become issues for folks as they age and as we go through the life cycle as well. We also want to provide advocacy training annually, and that's for kind of across the spectrum of folks who have issues that could potentially need to be addressed. Yes?
I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like we're making any inroads in addressing and helping people, the older adults who are dealing with isolation and loneliness? Because this has been on our radar for, since the last GWAR survey.
Right.
And something that's really troubled me for a long time, and I know we've tried to do a lot more congregate meal sites and engage, like these kinds of things.
Right.
So you're feeling like we're helping in any way?
I do. I think one of the things that we sometimes you look at the synergies between the different activities and programs that we do. And so I think of, as far as the isolation piece, I look at the home delivered meals. That can be, we might be the only person, we've talked about this before, we might be the only person that person sees throughout the week or throughout the month. And so that's kind of where the person who's delivering, the drivers will come back and say, hey, so-and-so, I noticed that this was a little different, or so-and-so might need some support, so you might want to reach out because it seemed a little, like there was something going on there, and so that's a piece of it. But then also, like our APS worker in our behavioral health unit also will sometimes, even if it doesn't rise to the level of, hey, we need to intervene on something that's going on, they can also be like, are there preventative or proactive measures that we can take to kind of, to improve that person's situation, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it. And so, so I know the ADRC, the drivers, the APS worker, and then we also run into a lot of families through working with kids and things like that too. So, and if they have grandparents or, folks who might be experiencing that too. So I think one of the, we always talk about the size of the county and how we're not Eau Claire, we're not La Crosse. But I think one of the benefits of being a smaller county and a smaller department, if you will, is we're a lot more connected, and I think there's a lot more crossover between the units within our department, and especially in our leadership team meetings. And it's how do we have good communication flow when something's noticed over here that somebody over here could maybe address and help with a little bit more, So we have those conversations. Is it perfect yet? Nope. But I think we are making inroads, and I think we're intentional about when we look at when we are out and about, when we are touching somebody's life, in maybe in just this small way, but then, a little bit of red flag here, how do we maybe be more proactive about that? So
Can I add?
go ahead, yeah.
Can I add something to that too, Jay? Some little things also that we do. I'm one of the ADRC specialists, so one of the social workers that goes out and meets with people. Winona Health has a call caring line that if there are people that are saying, I'm lonely and would like a call, we have connected people to the Winona Health call caring line, and that they call these people like, I don't know if it's daily. I don't know about the frequency, but I have met with people who have become a part of that call caring line, and they really enjoy that. They just call to check in on them, see how they're doing. The other thing I wanted to give a shout out to was our birthday cake recognition thing. We've got people that, and that's the purpose of that birthday cake program. I forget what, Goodness Cakes program. People that you know or that you're aware of that are out in the community and maybe are alone, they don't have any family, and they have a birthday coming up. We're always looking for names or suggestions of people that we can have volunteers bake cakes for. It's only for birthdays, but we have delivered cakes to people who had no idea. I just met with a lady last week who has dementia and lives alone in Arcadia, and she was talking about this cake that she just got, and she had no idea where it came from. And I was like, well, I'm the one who got that set up for you. And she said, I was so surprised when that cake came. And, so there are some little things that we're doing too, just to try to bring some goodness to people's lives that are sort of alone and feeling, disconnected maybe from family.
Those are
You guys
excellent
do
points.
great. It warms my heart.
Well, and I will say, our staff do such an amazing job. I mean, we don't, we don't have a ton of resources, and so, but I think we really try to what measures can we put in place that are gonna have the most value to people and really address the issue the most, and I think our staff do an excellent job. I think all of our ADRC staff do that, so, yeah. Nope, they give me the warm and fuzzies every time they tell me what's going on. Let's see, turning to page 2, talking about a little bit more about strategies. We want to make sure people are informed who their elected officials are, how to contact them, those kinds of things. We also want to make sure that we're being intentional about offering that advocacy at least 2 times a year, dedicate space in the newsletter to talking about that at least twice a year. And then probably some other ways as well that we're looking at. But that's the one that we're really calling out right now. And then providing advocacy, education, and training at least annually to this council and then to the Nutrition Advisory Council as well. And so when we're talking about the populations, we're trying to target the general public to begin with, but also the vulnerable and underserved populations and groups out there as well. So. And then with every one of these, there are documentation efforts. I'm not going to read through all of those, but that's where we want to make sure. Here's what we're doing. What did we do? Was it effective? what kind of feedback? I'm guessing there's gonna be some objective, numbers of participation and that kind of thing, but also some subjective information as to, well, how do you think it went? Did you think it benefited you? I mean, those kinds of pieces are all valuable to us, and are all good feedback, so. The second, going to the third page, I should say, that is the nutrition program. And so, certainly Sammy, chime in if you, if you want to add.
Really excited, I think we got it to work over here.
Oh, good.
Excellent, okay. So with the nutrition program, what we want to do is we want to provide support and improve good nutrition, wellness, and healthy behaviors through intergenerational nutrition education activities. That's a mouthful, but we're always looking at how can we accomplish our goals and have an intergenerational component for sustainability, that helps get the word out beyond just the people who are sitting in those activities. So how are we gonna do that? We wanna offer at least 2 intergenerational nutrition education programs each year. And we wanna do that through creating some partnerships, across the county. And so one of the partnerships we're looking, or several of the partnerships we're looking at is with Trempealeau County School Districts. And so that kind of seems to be a natural fit for some of those. And I'm sure there are probably ideas generated within those partnerships as well to, hey, we could pull in this group, we could pull in these people, that kind of thing. Also, additional partnerships to provide nutrition education. And so we've listed some of the possible partners there: UW Extension, Public Health, food providers and dietitians. There's a whole list of folks there and organizations that we think could be resources and partners with us. And then also, as we're doing this and as we're going through this, we want to look at what are our teaching methods, because this is only going to be as good as how we deliver the information, right? So we want to make sure that we're giving people the information that's going to stick with them. Are we giving it to them in a format that is understandable and that they can take with them, and make sure that they're implementing to the extent that they choose to, because we can offer the information, but we want to make sure that it's sustainable.
Sorry.
There you go. Wow. You kind of made me want to run away there for a minute.
Welcome to the twilight zone.
Right. Oh. So the teaching methods, types of activities, what's most engaging for not just older adults, but the younger participants as well, because if everybody's engaged, that's where that value is going to come, and that's where I think is where a lot of that comes from. So again, documentation is the last prong of that as well. So we go to the next page, and that is the evidence-based health promotion. And our goal statement is pretty direct. It's reduce the number of falls in Trempealeau County. And so we've got a lot of different strategies and things that we're trying to implement, and that we have been implementing actually, that we'd like to build on and focus on still. And so the plans and strategies, the Stepping On program, I know we've been doing that, the Strong Bodies program as well. And then participation in Falls Prevention Month, because awareness is a big piece of it, especially as folks are aging and might not be thinking about it, to keep it at the forefront of, not just the folks themselves, but their family members. And gosh, mom or dad, do we need to look at the house, and are we removing barriers? Are there simple things that you can do to reduce the number of falls, that people are having? So.
When is Falls Prevention Month?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I didn't even know we had a month. We have a month dedicated to everything.
That's why I can't keep track of them all, Jeannie.
Google it, look it up.
Either September or October.
Okay.
Coming up in the new ADRC newsletter.
Okay.
Oh, good, perfect. What timing? Thank you, Ashley. And then also, one thing that we're doing as well is joining the Falls for You Wisconsin Coalition. And I think that this will be our first time joining that coalition, correct? That's what I was thinking, So yeah, building on what we've already done, but also adding some new pieces to it as well. And again, the documentation piece, how many times are we offering these things, what's the participation, but then also the benefit that folks are getting from it. And that's kind of the theme, it's, as with any good plan, you have your plan, you execute your plan, you assess your plan for effectiveness. And so that's kind of the theme that we want to, approach on all of these pieces, so.
Oh, it's in September.
September, there it is.
They also have a Falls Prevention Month in Australia. I found that first, but
Is it the same month?
no.
Oh.
They fall the opposite direction.
Oh, no.
So it's next month.
Sorry.
A lot of people are involved in this. The Brain Injury Association, I mean, when you Google it, you'll get a lot of.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so interesting.
Yeah.
I just
National
wanna
Council on Aging.
I just want to say too, that these falls prevention programs, like Stepping On, Strong Bodies, we have just seen an uptick in participation in these programs. I've been at the ADRC for 11 years, and there were times when we would offer these programs and it wasn't really sustainable. We'd have maybe a couple of people show up and, we were having volunteers doing these programs, and it was just really hard to get the momentum. And just in the last year or two, we've just really had an uptick. People are showing interest in these programs, and they're giving us a lot of good feedback that they feel like they are doing something for them.
And I just discovered the color for Fall Prevention Month is yellow. You can use a wristband, a blanket, yellow socks, yellow ribbons,
Or a yellow t-shirt,
yellow t-shirt. Yeah. So get ready with yellow stuff next month.
Tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree.
That's true.
Nobody wants to hear that, Jeannie. And these are all evidence-based programs, so we want to make sure that, we're having maximum impact, as I said before. So, again, the documentation piece will be important. The last section deals with caregiver supports, and this can be fairly far-reaching in many ways. And we want to offer a safe and supportive environment where seniors with dementia can enjoy recreational activities, social interaction, and mental stimulation. Obvious for all of the obvious benefits, that studies have shown over the years. Our goal here is to develop and operate a completely volunteer-driven respite center to offer folks a crucial break from their responsibilities as caregivers. And so we're in the planning stages right now. And so this is kind of, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time here? So we want to, but we're very optimistic that we can get this off the ground and set up a sustainable model. And we're gonna start small, most likely. We don't have details yet, but we think this is, when you talk to folks who are struggling with maybe caregiving responsibilities, or, hey, I just need a little bit of time periodically, and maybe you don't have other folks who can help you out or give you a break. This is something that's gonna be very important, for our county, so. As I say, details to be determined, but this is gonna be, it's ambitious, but it's also doable, and it's something that, again, will have maximum impact for folks, so. And it's, like I say, it's addressing a huge gap. So it's to build our community, right? So, so our plan or the strategy is provide drop-in volunteer-based social respite relief care services for folks 60 and over, staffed entirely by volunteers. And so we're gonna be doing some research on respite programs, what are some other models that we can maybe crib off of and create this from, and then, get a hold of those organizations and kind of talk through. I think the Oasis program, wasn't that one of them?
Yeah.
In La Crosse, that has been successful, that we may kind of pick their brains a little bit and see what they can offer us as far as resources go, so. And then talk with those organizations about, hey, what did you look at for funding sources and financial support and those kinds of pieces for some of the structural and sustainable pieces that we're gonna need. And then identify facilities, look at those facilities, assess those, look at what partnerships and agreements we need, develop and formalize policies, And then kind of, once we're at that point, then start with the volunteer recruitment. And what kind of training do they need and all those kinds of things. So it's not gonna be overnight, but it's definitely, this is definitely gonna hit a significant need, and a gap in our county, so. And then the documentation piece as well, and again, it's the plan, execute, assess, and then kind of repeat the cycle, to make sure that we're being effective, and if we need to pivot or shift the model, then so be it, and we'll make sure that we're doing the best that we can for our county. So that's what I know. Any questions or feedback?
Sounds wonderful. Looks like
Yes, it looks
a wonderful.
ambitious and.
Yes. Yeah.
I love how you've always done a good job putting these plans together with goals and how you're gonna get there. I like it. I like
Yeah.
how it's done.
Yeah.
I'm sure the state does too.
Yeah.
And like you say, one bite at a time. It's a lot of things to do, and people don't expect it to be all done at the same time. So to make it good, successful, whatever, approach it positively and slowly maybe. But a lot of good things for our community out there, so thank you very much.
This is a 2-year plan, correct?
3-year
So,
plan.
A 3-year plan,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Jeannie? Jeannie's got her thumb up, so.
So, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It'll
Mary.
take time to do all this,
Right.
right?
Right.
It will.
I just need to know, because I'm outcome-based, have you looked at your previous 3-year plan to see how you've done? Do you
That
get
was-
feedback from the state?
Exactly what I was gonna ask.
Right. Yes, we do look at that. Now, can I tell you off the top of my head?
No,
I can't.
no, that's okay.
can't tell you
But if you could, maybe, you and Melissa at our next meeting, which will be in, oh my gosh, October? Ugh. Well,
Yeah.
the old plan is gonna be ending in December anyway, so
Right,
just,
so I think that could be part of the,
right,
hey,
and
what's our
maybe not
assessment?
even until further down the road, until we're done, when you've looked at
Sure.
everything and evaluated. It would be fun just to see how things are going.
I agree,
Which
and
I think probably are gonna be good, because you've done so much stuff.
I mean, our team at the ADRC is amazing.
I know.
Well, Becky's online too. I always gush to her about how awesome they are, so, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so maybe in October, February, we'll have completed the, previous 3-year plan, and we can look at how we did.
Well, because, and we're smack in the middle of some of those things and some of the meat of it too, but I mean, it's not a bad thing to say, hey, how's it going, kind of along the way at certain milestones, and just what is it looking like and what kind of impact are we having? Because, and it's funny because when you look at the, some of this is state language, or a lot of this is, I should say, even though we inject our specifics into there for our county, but at the bottom of every documentation area, it says, assessing whether anyone is better off. And I'm like, well, that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of the assessment piece.
Right.
And that, but then the question becomes, and we've got some pieces in here on, well, how are you rating that? How are you assessing how you did? So, and it's a little bit different for each area. And as I say, I think there's a place for the objective data where like Laura was saying, in the past, we've kind of built some of these things and who is attending, how many are attending, but then it's also what kind of impact are we having in a more subjective way that's not always easy to measure, but it's the anecdotal, it's the individual feedback too, so I think those are all important pieces. Yeah, and I will also say about the respite center is, we've talked about, even if we start really small, like maybe it's just a few hours a month or something like that, just to start in a way that gets us moving towards the ultimate goal is, we've got grandiose dreams that we need to keep working towards, and we might never reach them, but as long as we're making progress towards that is really what we want to, progress towards our grandiose dreams, how about that?
Do you know if any residents in Trempealeau County participate in the memory choir? That I know it's
Does
a
anybody know?
really big group in Eau Claire.
I don't know
I'm
that.
not sure either.
Okay. mean, they're amazing, you know, where you can't know who your husband is, but you can remember the words to every song. So,
That's awesome. But I don't know.
okay.
I don't know.
And I
That's
know
a-
they have a memory cafe too, or they did back in the day when I was there. I don't know if it.
I had heard about that, yeah.
That's a very good segue into what we're going to do next.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
wine
yeah,
women
wine
and
women
dementia. So Ashley, you apparently have the ability now. Should we jump to 6 again? Okay. Laura's gonna.
We just wanted to share information with you guys about this very exciting event that the ADRC is going to be hosting in September. It's actually September 25th. It's going to be held at the Opera House. It's called Wine, Women, and Dementia, but it's really open for anybody. We've had some men say, well, it's all for women, and we're like, nope, men can come too. It's really for any caregiver. The ADRC is trying to plan so that we have respite options for people, because it's really about caregivers, right? And having them come and hear this documentary that's not going to give you statistics about dementia. It's very engaging. I think if you come and you join us at this event, you're going to find yourself laughing at some parts, and you're going to find yourself crying at others. We have, Ashley is going to show you just a little bit of the trailer this morning, just to give you a little taste of what this documentary is really all about.
Remember when we were in the basement at the old courthouse? Everything always seemed to work so good. It's true, we did.
Egg, and it's like you could try this, you could try that. I was looking for somebody to help, and there just wasn't anybody. I started this. I'm not the only one. It also opened up a whole new world of other dementia caregivers who became my touchstones, my lifelines. For about the last year of Mom's life, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be so much fun to just like get a house on wheels and roll around the country and meet these people? Cheers! Cheers! Cheers!
There's so much more to dementia than they tell you in the movies. We're gonna have to see how it goes for my dad. Right now, I think he is crying out for a break.
I didn't know if she knew it was me or if she was just mad at the person that was coming in. And I was like, oh. And I never knew what to do with that because it was so not her character.
He doesn't speak much these days. And once in a while you'll get the, hey, sweetie, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, Dad, you know.
The people who he was working with had lost all respect for him. And it was really important to me to kind of clear his good name, to let everybody know.
Good news, it's dementia.
Yeah, right?
The last thing you said to us was, I'm going to bed. You didn't say, I'm going to go out for a 2.5-hour walk.
I didn't intend it to be 2.5 hours. I got lost.
We're all in our own houses, in our own little worlds, caring for our people, and we think we're the only ones that are doing it when there's people all over the country doing it. We just don't know them.
Maybe this movie will be seen by enough caregivers so that we push a generation of caregivers a little further down the road, and then they in turn can figure out the way that they're going to let the next generation of caregivers get a little bit of a head start, and maybe we can all stop being so
Blind.
yeah. So this is my journey to tell you the story of dementia family caregivers.
So some of the exciting stuff about this documentary is that the gal behind this documentary was one of the writers for This Is Us, so that's kind of cool. Also, she started this blog when they were taking care of her mother, and it just became this circle of people that she knew online. And so then after her mother passed away, she decided to go out on the road and meet some of these people. So really that's what this documentary is all about. Linda Perrin, the one who was saying, like, we're taking care of my dad and we don't even know if he knows, you know, what we're doing or who we are. And sometimes he says, hey, sweetie. And I go, oh gosh, he really isn't. She's coming to this event on September 25th. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about her journey and, you know, answer some questions that people might have in the audience. So why wine, women, and dementia? I mean, it seems kind of obvious maybe. As you guys are probably aware, the numbers of people are aging, people are living longer. Sometimes it's not always without memory problems, right? So we've got a lot of people in Trempealeau County who are caregivers, who are really they're trying to keep their loved ones at home, care for them at home, and how can we support them more? And not just us at the ADRC, but as a community. How do we support each other more for people who are trying to keep their people at home, you know, aging in place? So this event is September 25th. It's at the Opera House. It starts at 4 o'clock. That's when we are getting a fantastic meal that's going to be catered by Flying Ryan's. They're going to be bringing in lasagna and chicken Alfredo. They're going to have side salads, garlic bread. That starts at 4 o'clock. But if you are working and you can't come until after 4:30, or maybe it's going to be closer to 5, you can still come and take advantage of the meal. If you want to just come and watch the documentary at 5 p.m., it's a free event. If you are over 60 and you want to come for the meal and the documentary, it's going to cost you $5. We are asking that everybody call to register at the ADRC, just so we have a number. We need to plan for meals and things like that with Flying Ryan's. We also need to know if there are caregivers out there that are coming and need some respite options, because that is something that we want to try to provide to people. If you are under 60 and you want to join us for this event, including the meal, there is going to be a cost of $20 for people that are under 60 and want to come for the meal and the documentary. Again, it's a free event if you are just coming for the documentary. Opera House is handicap accessible. There is an elevator that people can ride up to get to the area where our viewing is going to be. So that should be a non-issue for people. Does anybody have any questions?
What time the whole thing starts?
The whole thing starts at 4 o'clock, Mary. The movie, the documentary itself is going to start at 5 p.m.
I think this is a good thing.
Very good.
Yeah.
I know people that has dementia and that, and I told my person that helped me, I said, how can I help them? How can I help them be part of this? Because I said, I know people that has dementia, and I thought, I really want to help them, but I don't know how to really go about it because I don't want to do the wrong thing.
Well, and I think part of the thing that I really like about this is that we know that there's a caregiver shortage out there. So if you call the ADRC and you're looking for a paid support person to come in, I can't promise you that you're going to find somebody. A lot of these agencies, people are calling and they're saying, we don't have people. And some of these family caregivers, they don't qualify for Medicaid-funded programs because they've got too much money or too much assets or things like that. And really, it's a community thing. Like, how can we, as a community of Trempealeau County, come together to help each other out, to try to help people age at home, and really just be better informal supports to our neighbors, our friends, and our families.
Thank you very much. That's, yeah, dementia is really tough. With my new profession, I get to go to the memory care unit over at Grandview and visit some folks that used to be extremely active in the community. And one yesterday, he was in and out of sleep, basically, and, didn't even necessarily know that I was there other than I was touching him and chatting with him. And he did say, I don't know at one point, and I just said, that's okay if you don't know. And I think, Mary, you're right about what do we say to people sometimes, but, you just, I guess, have to learn not to correct them, just maybe agree and, kind of keep going.
I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Sure.
If I say the
None of us do.
wrong thing, then they get mad at me, and I thought, how can I say the right thing,
Yeah, just being there, just being present, and, just sometimes just talking with them about everyday events, and if they end up talking about something from the past, just kind of agree, and, it's a wonderful thing. Laura's got the poster there.
I just wanted to add one more thing. We ADRC workers are trying, these are our posters advertising our event, and we just in the last week have really tried to get out into some of the communities to get these posters hung up and advertise this event for people. So if you see it, check it out. If you know people who might be interested in something like this, certainly have them give us a call. We also have these little postcards that I had shared with you guys. We have a ton of these at the office too, so if there are people that may need this information or a reminder, we can send these out to people as well. Thank you, Scott.
Yes, thank you. I don't read a lot of the AARP, but I happened to be reading one article yesterday, and it was about this gal's mother who had gotten dementia, but all through her mother's life, she didn't have a good marriage, and she, sort of chided her daughter, oh, you shouldn't be kissing your husband and holding his hands while you're out dancing, you're embarrassing yourself. And so when she went into a memory care unit, she fell in love with a guy, and, was holding hands and kissing and all that kind of stuff. And even after he had passed, she would tell her daughter that, oh yeah, we spent the whole day together and it was wonderful. And so she's having these memories of, what was wonderful in her life. So, that was kind of the upside. And, but it's a very tough situation for families and people that we love to get this disease. So thank you for bringing this to us. It's going to be wonderful, I'm sure.
Laura, do you need any volunteers to help at the event for anything?
I think we always could, Dawn. I know that all the ADRC staff are planning to be there, and many of us are bringing spouses or significant others to help out, because some of us, the respite piece of it, we're probably going to be the ones doing a lot of that too. So if there are people who are interested in helping us out, volunteering, let us know at the ADRC and we will help you guys. get connected. Yeah. We would never turn that down, Dawn.
And I think since we had the bubbly here, I offer a toast to the staff who have been putting it all together, and cheers to everybody. Thank you so much for this. Okay, well, I guess we're up to 8, and Sammy's going to talk to us about nutrition.
Yes. Okay, so the ADRC's Nutrition Advisory Council met for its 3rd meeting so far this year, last Thursday, August 1st. We rotate where we're holding these meetings every we're hoping to visit every dining site of our senior dining. So far we've been at Strum, at the Emmanuel Lutheran Church, Blair at Friendship First, and then this last meeting was at Boondocks Locker Room in Galesville. We have our meeting beforehand and then try and stay for the senior meal afterwards. So getting out and visiting more of these sites. We discussed upcoming ADRC events. As talked about, we have a lot going on. Congregate dining site updates, as well as the congregate and home delivered meal meal numbers from the last 2 months. So we did find that the numbers have increased at both, so that's good. We're providing a lot of good meals out there. And then the council meets every other month. However, the day of the week changes based on where we're meeting, what dining site, because those are all different days. So currently we have 5 members. We are looking for more. So if anybody is interested or knows of anybody, really we're looking for maybe some more of our drivers, or we'd love to get some people that do participate in the programs, whether it's the congregate dining or home delivered meals. So if you know of anybody, let us know. And I can just jump right into the next updates if you want.
Unless you have questions
Anybody
about
have
the
questions on that?
program? I participate in senior meals, being a senior, and there are others in the room that do as well. And those of us that go really enjoy the food, yes, but the camaraderie is great. Just a few weeks ago over at Sweet Temptations, gals came to the back. There were 2 chairs open, like right in front of me, and they said that this couple just arrived, and they live in Iowa, but they're just sort of passing through on their way home. And is it all right if they sit with you? And they commanded me to behave myself and behave, and so they came and they enjoyed it immensely. I mean, they were able to ask us all sorts of questions about Whitehall. They got to know the area well. They actually, I think, have a business of pellet stoves or something, and they come up and promote that and meet with people. But it was an opportunity to sit with others rather than just themselves. And I think it's just a wonderful program. So thank you, Sammy, for all you do for it, and the rest of the staff as well. So
Yeah. I should add quick, we do have 2 members of the council here. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to what we talked about or anything.
It was my first meeting, so I'm really green at this, but I like the information that was given and a lot of positives.
okay, carry on,
Good
please.
deal. Okay. Up next, just some updates and highlights from the ARDC. ADRC. Jeez, I'm reading ARPA here and then trying to say ADRC, so, oh my goodness. Okay, Livable Communities Grant updates. As Melissa mentioned in the last meeting, the ADRC was awarded a Livable Communities grant of $100,000, and we are bringing a fitness center to Whitehall. We are currently in the final stages of picking out the equipment, narrowing down needs for the community for both our youth and our seniors and everyone in between. So getting that all narrowed down. One of the grant requirements is that the coalition meets monthly. to discuss the project. So we have held our first meeting, held it on July 22nd at the White House School. It was a very productive meeting. We reviewed the collaboration agreement, our work plan status, the budget and equipment needs. And our next meeting is August 28th, which will also be at the school. But lots of good things. We're really getting close to being ready to go as far as ordering. Once the ordering is complete, 6 weeks or so, we should have it, and then shortly after that. So hopefully within the next few months, we'll be finishing things up. The school is prepared. The area is cleared out. It's painted. It's kind of just waiting for us. So hopefully soon.
I think that one of the really neat parts about this, though, too, is the partnerships here in the school district and the ADRC and Western Dairyland and other, the partnerships that. So great. Yeah, I agree. That gives me the warm and fuzzies, too, so.
I would just like to add that these fine ladies, along with the school district and any other partnering agencies, were highlighted on WEAU, and there was a segment on it. I think that's still available on the website if you go out and find it, but it was a really nice piece to just highlight what will be coming for the communities.
Thanks, Ashley. And then our health promotion activities. So Jay mentioned some of this in our aging plan. Strong Bodies is coming back. It is a evidence-based 12-week fitness program. So far, the ADRC has held 6 classes. And on Wednesday this week, we are happy to announce we have 4 people going to be trained to become new instructors, which is huge. So the more instructors we have, the more classes we can offer. So that's awesome. And then due to that large number of instructors, we are beginning 2 classes in September. One will be held here in Whitehall, and then the other will be in Strum or Osseo. Still working out the final details on all of that as well. Times, locations, things like that. So finalizing all of that. The instructors are gonna kind of see what they can do, but stay tuned. September, they will be coming back, so.
Do you have, still have the newsletter?
Yes.
Because somebody told me where I live that they haven't got a newsletter yet. So they wanted to have me to tell you guys they need a newsletter.
Okay, yep, we still have the newsletter. It's bi-monthly. We drop them off throughout the communities, but we can definitely get that arranged. Mary, I can talk to you after. We'll get
I
one.
said I got the news in the mail, but I got a newsletter, and she says, "Well, where's ours?"
Yeah,
he says, "Where's our letter? We want a newsletter." And I says, "Well, I'll ask them nicely, not nasty." But I said,
Yeah.
I will ask them and see if they can do it.
Yep, we have a mailing list that they can call the ADRC to be added to, so we'll get them taken care of.
The Strong Bodies program is no joke. I participated in it, it was difficult for me to kind of keep up.
I do toys, so I like doing it. I
fun.
can't do all of it, but I do some of it.
Yeah, people can go at their own rate, and
I do
you
most
use
of it.
weights, however you choose the weights in the morning, and if they're too much, then you just set them down and keep going either without them or grab a smaller weight and try to keep moving on. So, yeah, it's wonderful. So thanks for all of that. Anything more that you need to?
That's all I've got. Anybody
Okay,
have any
any
questions, comments?
Okay, I guess we're on then to the open comments area. Anybody have something to share that we all should know?
It stopped raining and the sun is out.
That's a wonderful thing. Sure rained again last night, my gosh.
I'm tired of blonde
I do have a question. I think I had seen an email from Melissa Youngbauer saying that, and I think it might have to do with what you brought up, but I'm a little confused. Recommending that all of the members of this committee attend the meal sites for, can somebody explain that to me, or?
Yeah, in the off months, but July, what was our meeting in August? July was supposed to be at Strum, but not, wasn't it canceled? Not enough people came? Or could come to that meal site?
Yeah, yep, so that one was canceled, but yeah, I believe there's a time, I'm not 100% sure what the time frame is.
At another site,
Okay.
but I don't recall what it is, where it is. We'll have to have Melissa send that email out
Yeah,
again.
I guess if you could include, I know that I could go digging for it, but if she could include, because it's right at her fingertips, where each of the sites are and that I can try to get it on my calendar, as long as I can do that in advance, I'd love to do it. I just have to plan ahead.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Thanks.
I think she said they started at the northern part, and we're gonna work our way down, so.
Yep,
Yeah, it was supposed to
sites-
be July 2nd, which wasn't a great date, you know, it's like people went away for the 4th and,
That's why I couldn't make it, because
Yeah.
we were packing up and getting ready to take off the next day.
Yeah, the sites each have their own kind of flavor and their own style, and you know, they each bring something different to the table. So it is fun just to get out and experience each one of them. I was able to do that a couple of years ago now. I think we had a thing in December. Yeah, I was the only one participating, so I won the prize, so.
And that actually just started again, our passports for visiting the dining sites. They've been delivered to a few of the dining sites. We're still getting them out, or they can be picked up at the ADRC. I don't have one here, but they are little postcards. Visit a dining site, you get a stamp. Once your card is full, you can turn it in to the ADRC or the meal site you're at. We'll collect them all, then be entered for a drawing. There are several prizes that have been donated by a lot of great local businesses. So a lot of good prizes, multiple winners. We want to get as many people out. So it runs from now, I believe, through September 30th. So yes, those are out and about. Keep an eye out for them. Oh, perfect. Yes, so lots of great things. Visit the dining sites, get out there, so.
Meet new people. It's always fun. Sometimes we don't step out of our comfort zone to meet new people, but, you know, this is an easy way to do it because the groups are generally pretty open, although I did find, when I went to Pine Creek, I sat down at a table and somebody said, oh, the people that sit here are up upstairs in church right now, and they'll all be coming down for this table. I said, oh, that's okay, I'll move, but I just wanted to talk to you folks for now. So they get a little bit territorial in ways, but, you know, just keep moving around and find a spot.
Yeah, and like they said, they're all a little different. Some of them are, you know, a cafe type style, food. Others are more meat and potatoes. So Cafe 60 you pick off of the menu. So a lot of different ways to eat. So
Sweet Temptations provides food for Strum, Blair, and Cafe 60, of course, because it's right there. And the Ashley Pub provides it at the Wanik Center over in Arcadia. The Pine Creek, they have two women who make it right there. I was able to go to their Thanksgiving meal last year. It was fantastic. And Boondocks, of course, they do their own right there too. Did I miss one? I think that was it.
that's it.
So, yeah, it's fun.
I got one other update here. It's on the other side of this card. You can see our next cultural dinner is coming up. It's a Latino cultural dinner. Dinner at 5 will be held at the Holy Family Catholic Church in Arcadia on September 10th. We have a woman from Arcadia that's going to be catering some authentic Latino food. We have enchiladas, rice, chicken, fruit, cheesecake, gelatin, different types of authentic beverages. So it should be really, really good. Again, it's at 5 o'clock. We have Puentes Bridges coming to do a presentation. They work with the Latino farming communities, and they are trying to bridge the gap between their farming communities and our farming communities. So they're going to give a presentation on that. So lots of fun information. So come out to that as well. Same thing, 60 and older. It is the suggested contribution of $5.
You have, get a ride?
Yep, we do provide transportation. The
Thank
ADRC
you.
will provide transportation. You do have to make reservations by calling the ADRC, so let us know.
Yes, well done. Anything else? Well, thank you all for coming. I guess I entertain a motion to adjourn. Now, Jeannie keeps telling me we hit the end of the agenda. We don't necessarily have to, but, oh, okay. So let's just adjourn. We're done. Thank you very much.